Okay, another live trading video. I'm not really too sure if we're going to be able to get too much here today, because the time I've been trying to do this, it's just been sideways and slow. As you can see how much this candle just isn't moving. We did try and record something in this range here, but I missed it. Paused the recording for a while and then nothing happened, so I just ended it. Restarted it. We're now in this range. I'm anticipating us going lower. We just closed this low here, moved up into the range. We're going to the 5 minute. I'm wanting this to close. So this trade right now is the trade to take it down to close this, but the profits are not really worth it because I want to close that, meaning it can close it and then come back up to here. So we're probably looking at around this low here for 0.73R or potentially 1.35 if we have it here. I just don't think it's a good idea to take that trade there. I'd rather wait for this range to close right now, come back up and then take the trade. The 15 minutes just been sideways the whole time. We've not broken any highs, we've not broken any lows. In any range, this more exterior range, even this, even further back range here, right, we haven't closed anything. The only thing you can really look at is, I'm pretty sure we closed this on the 1 minute, we did, and then we came up, held the range, which kind of suggests it's trying to close down. We are creating lower highs as we go, but we're also creating higher lows, so not really too much to say direction wise other than what's happening right now really. Closing interior low here, tested up, held the order block, didn't close the more exterior low, but the fact that at this moment I was expecting, oh, maybe we just swept an exterior low, we can break the top, and then an interior range held us down, is kind of suggesting direction is really wanting to go down here. So we could target this low here, still need to close this on a higher time frame, so that's something I'm looking to target. So yeah, we're just gonna see if this low here can close. It's got 4 minutes to close. I thought it was gonna close this candle, unfortunately not. So what I'd be looking for is closing this, testing into here, taking the trade down, to that next range, which is going to be here. So could look at something like so, something inside of this 5 minute order block that can get created, maybe around here, and then we're just taking that down to there for around 2R. Would do. If we get there now, it's completely fine. We'll just look for, if we're going to close this, are we going to continue down? Are we going to create a range that we can hold off of, use it as a bait range, get the next range up to the low we just closed, the order block for the low we just closed, so targeting this is what I would be looking at, because these are more exterior lows, this is the exterior order block, so this is an interior range, this is the interior order block. So even though they're the same levels, just know that if this is holding, it's this, not this, is what I would be looking at. So it does look like we're going to close that now, come down to this more exterior low, which is my target right now. Hopefully we don't take it out right this second. Also, we've not closed that low yet, so if we do move up right now, where's the highest fair value gap? The highest fair value gap is here, so I wouldn't be against taking a trade like so. It's just the risk to reward is not worth it unless we had a smaller stop loss, maybe just at the body of this bearish order block here. Take that down for 1R. That's not too bad considering this is our external target, but we might close this and then just immediately come up and then go down, which isn't a good thing for that trade. the only way I would do this is if the maybe if we go to the order block, or if it looks good on the 15 seconds. So if I can quickly look at that 15 second, does look like we can still go higher. We didn't hold it aggressively, didn't hold the low aggressively, so I'd want to see if it's going to come up to here first before we can take a short down. We are trying to hold this fair value gap right now. I am going to get rid of this level. I'm going to get rid of this level as well. I don't know why that's still there. That was just an order block in this range I was looking at a while back. So a minute here. So this is the thing. We close this now unless you hold it aggressively. I don't think we're gonna be able to get a trade inside of that range. Obviously unless it's aggressive like I just said. Okay, so 30 seconds here. We might not even close it. By the looks of things, we might not close this. Hopefully we do. But at the same time, if we don't, it'll be better for this trade. But if we close it now, it'll be better for the more external trade, meaning we can get a better risk to reward, right? Because we'd be able to get something like so, around $23 in price action, which is actually unfortunate. We don't close that. We don't close that. Quite an ugly looking candle as well. I'm still liking the look of this short there. This is still a pretty good look. There's nothing saying this can't work out. If we can come up to this order block, and this is the only range below, we've got quite a distance before there's anything we test into to flip. So by the time we get to here, we can be break even in our trade to try and see if it's gonna just go straight lower and not retest higher. So we're coming up now. So I mean, you can kind of say this could be the highest fair value gap, right? You got the two wicks here. I think what I'm gonna do is stop loss is pretty okay. Let me look at this. No, just because this is a range here, so I'm not gonna go for this. Because if we hold this range, break this high, continue to cycle up, I'd want to see us test into this bearish order block before we try and take something. I'm gonna have to shut that window. Okay, so we're back. We might still be able to get this here. If it looks good enough, I will take something. If it doesn't, then obviously I'm not going to do anything. One thing we can take away, obviously, is we closed this low at least on the 1 minute. We didn't close on the 5 minute. It's choppy. Right, we're not closing any higher time frame. Not even higher time frame, just the time frame higher. We're not closing any of the levels, any of the highs or lows. So all we can really do is look at these 1 minute ranges. Close this low, can come up to this order block now. We was hoping this range was the one that holds because we was trying to close this. Obviously that wasn't the best sign, this candle, to try and close that, right? So we can only really see what happens at this order block. This order block here. Gone to 15 second, because if we was going to take that that trade right now, let's say we went for the midpoint, stop loss is tiny for a start, and then also it can just come to here, flip up, break this high and go higher, because there's a range here on the lower time frame. I still don't think it's the worst idea though, because the stop loss isn't too bad. Taking it down to this low as well is going to be 4.7. I would just target. Yeah, I would target that low opposed to this low, just because it's 4.7, or don't really need any more than that. Well, we can just go for the low here. It's not the worst idea. I think I'm gonna give it a go. Just trying to get that down, even if we just get to the order block. So I'm wanting to see what happens in this range here. If we fail to go anywhere off this range, then I'm gonna take the trade on. So we trade back down to here. So this is kind of the decision point. Doesn't look like it's holding, in my opinion. Can just try and take something here. Try and get it down to, even just to the order block, right, is 1.43. Would like to get this maybe lower as well. We put that at the previous high. We'll try and take that down to, we'll try and take it down to the midpoint of the order block, which is going to be this point here. We can try. Wrong candle. So here. Gonna try and take that down to there. Cool. So what I'm going to do here is just look at the 15-second. Nothing really to worry about right now at all. No range created at the top until now. So if we close this, maybe we use this to continue higher. Close this, we can use this to continue lower. So we're going to keep our eyes on this high. This high here. We've closed that high now. So we can use this range to continue lower. Going to give it a benefit of the doubt though, because we are just testing the, I don't know how that took us out. It took us out now though. This is still don't think that's a bad attempt really. It looks like it just maybe spiked our level, unfortunately. Spiked our level. Maybe I should have waited for the more exterior, which is up here, before I tried anything. Right. So what we will do here is we'll see if we can close this low, maybe get a re-entry of this candle, take it down. If not and it comes higher, we'll see what happens off of this. I still don't think that was the worst attempt, to be honest. I don't want to go for a short here, right, because we just close this range. We can hold that and obviously go higher, and the previous high is going to be here, so this will be our stop loss. We'll be taking it down to there. Alright, that would be the trade. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for this range to close, if I think it needs to, which in my opinion it does, because we are just testing down to this order block. Okay, so it's the level we're looking at. Looks like we might be able to close it. Close an interior order block, holding this, trying to cycle down. Stop loss is 4. Could do 3 here. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for it to get tested into, create something, and then try it instead of just getting straight up into it. I think that's going to be the better idea here. Closed, testing up. So we would be entering this interior range to try and close this one here. Okay, we're back here. We wasn't able to get a continuation play down. Nothing got created, nothing got closed, went sideways, and then started closing highs. Still haven't got to that more exterior target for this low. It closed. Considering a long right here, stop loss here. Potentially going break even once we get to this point. Thinking we can go higher just because we didn't close this low on any other time frame, and also on the higher time frames. It looks pretty nice to take a run up, to be honest. Didn't close anything here. Just gonna see how this order block here reacts. We close this on the 15-second, so I'm looking to see if we can trade down to this order block. We have tested fair value gap. This is now the new order block. Thinking about just taking this stop loss here, trying to take it up to this high if we can get that, or just potentially 2R, which is just here. 1R would only be to here. Right. 1R is more logical in this scenario because we could flip off of this. So potentially what I'm going to do here is do 2 contracts, try and take that up for 2R, have my stop loss below this low, trying to take that up. So for 1R, it's just going to be to this one. I think this is pretty good. Like I said, we closed this. Close this on the 15-second. Can use this range here. Try and continue higher. We don't want to close this fair value gap, obviously. So, kind of the decision point in this candle. I would like to try and target this high. Definitely. But I just don't think we'll get there in this one move. The very most, maybe the midpoint of this order block. But we're just going to target that 1R. It's going to be here. We'll reevaluate if we do get up there, because right now it doesn't look too good to try and get up there. Still a good reason to enter this trade. We didn't close any lows. Trying to close a high here. Right now, if we close this high, it does look pretty good to make a run up. Do you know what? I think I'm going to go for the longer move here and just go for the high. Just go for the longer move. Just because of time, I feel like you have a lot of time to think about what's going on, because it does take a while to do anything, right? It's not like the sessions where it's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's kind of taking its time. Gives you a lot longer to think about what you want to do. And also we have to realize that if we close this on the 1 minute, there's nothing saying we can't retest down again before we go higher. So I'm keeping that in mind as well. So trailing to here would not be a good idea right now. After it trades down, hits this, and then we could also, if we was only going for that 1R, we could break even here, because we did test this higher. I think even break even right now isn't the worst idea, but I'm going to keep it there. I want to see what happens here. Actually, what I am going to do is I will just leave it at break even now, because this is more of an exterior target, right? We close the low. If we're going to hold this, it's gonna bring us down to here. So we don't really want that to happen. Could trade down right now as well before going higher. So potentially we could do this, but I would rather just leave it. Could always leave it just those two ticks into profit here. Trying to go for that more exterior range. Would have been out for 1R now. I will trail to 1R once we get to, if we do get to here, because that's going to be the next place it can flip out. So I will trail to 1R at that point. Just going through time frames, seeing what can be happening. 5 minute looks pretty good. 15 minute looks good to run up, even all the way up to this high. 1 minute, just expecting that pullback. Would like to see us go aggressively off this high. If we go aggressively off this high, and then I think getting to this target is a quite a high possibility. Going to 15 seconds just to see what's happening. No range created until now, so we have high and low. Or even here, we've got a low and a high. This high can go. Could also travel to here once that high goes, if we so please to. If this turns into a black candle, that's the typical. You kind of get this typical look where you get a first black candle, and then the next black candle's around the same looking wick or a bit higher, and then it just dumps down. So this isn't the best look right now. We do want that to close here. If it doesn't close here, we're going to get that look. Which it looks like we're gonna. So this is probably gonna just be the break-even trade. Unfortunately, could have looked at that one. I think it's a good idea to try and take more out of this. Maybe what we'll do is we'll just try it to here now. A little bit of a pullback into that range. Kind of the final attempt to push higher. I'm not gonna move the stop loss anymore now until we get to our target. This is just trying to create that 1 minute range right now. If we can close this isn't really higher, it is equal highs, but this is all we really have to work with right now. We'd want to see this close, so we have a high and a low. Try and use that to go higher. Obviously can still trade into this range still, right? Because we did close it. Even close this exterior range. Trade down into the order block or whatever it wants to do. Obviously would like this to run up. It's going on lower time frames. If we take this out, most likely are gonna take it out. Just $5, unfortunately. I've taken it out now. So either just run straight down or trade off the order block. It's taking its time. Really is taking its time here. Can't really see a world where this doesn't go down, but you never know until it happens, right? Apparently trying to go up, but there's nothing gets traded into. Right, there's nothing here. Maybe this further away higher, but I'd say that's a bit of a stretch, saying that's what it's holding. These candles are quite brutal to work with when they are this slow. This one's not even printing. Now it is. Actually, I'm considering just moving this down to here, to be honest. Just in case it does a little bit of a sweep of this one. I think it's the worst idea. We're only missing out on an extra $3. Yeah, we'll try it. Let's just see what happens here. So we would be out of this now. I think now what we would do is, because we've potentially swept out, we'll have it at this low. Didn't close. Could sweep and go higher. Okay. It's quite a long-winded trade. I think taking one out there, well, obviously in hindsight, was the better idea, but I think playing for the bigger move here was an okay attempt. Knowing full well that this is the exterior for this. This can bring us lower if anything's going to happen. But that being said, if that didn't hold, then it's just going to bring us up to here and potentially here. So I think going for a bigger move, especially when this price action is so slow, wasn't the worst idea. So that does get us a bit back from that previous trade we took. I still don't think that was a bad one, the one down here. Still just trading into that range. Nothing really to look at on these time frames. But yeah, I think I'll just pause it until something comes up. Okay, we finally got another trade here. After a long while of going higher, we fit the exterior level being the 4 hour. On the 15-minute here, we came up to the inversion fair value gap, the normal fair value gap, close these highs here, so we need to retrace down anyway. So I'm going to take this trade down to the range below. Could take it all the way down to here as well, if we so please to. And then, yeah, I mean, this definitely looks like it can run all the way down. At the very least, here to the lowest fair value gap. We could try and target that. I think break even here is actually a good idea as well, because we have just gained this here. Especially if we close it, we can test back higher, try and go lower here, so we have gained something, reason to believe that break even is a good idea here. Or we could leave it one ticket to the negative, which is what I'm gonna do, just to that higher. So I think this is a logical decision here, just taking it to the low of this range below. Just put it out of full screen so you can see all the time frames here. Yeah, I do reckon this can definitely run down to this range down here. No, it's logical sense, right? If we close higher, come back down to the order block. In this sense as well, if we close this higher, order blocks all the way down here. Not even here, it'd be here. This is 117. But I will just leave it there. At the first place it can test into before it flips down. Leave it at just break even actually, just because I feel like for the trade, you know, it's been pretty successful so far. You don't want to just take a loss, even if it's a tiny loss like $1. It's not really a reason to. Hopefully hold this fair value gap, hopefully hold this order block if it comes out higher. Obviously it can come that high. So jump onto a 15-second here. Highest fair value gap on the 15-second is going to be here. It can come as high as this as well, but hopefully it doesn't come that high. I want to get somewhere we can trowel to, so if we can create a new range here, hopefully a high and a low, this candle comes under here, can trowel to here, but for now we'll just leave it at break even, because right now there's not really a reason to trowel at all. Can come a bit higher and then it can go down, so trailing, terrible idea, because you want to give it room to breathe. Putting it here is giving it no room, putting it here is giving it room. 5 minute, not really too much going on. Candle come all the way up to here, create an immediate rebalance. Come any higher than this, it's not an immediate rebalance. This is looking fairly good. It's actually looking better now than it is with just that one candle. Kind of a bit more of a range here, opposed to just two candles and then this candle going down. 15 second. Here's something you could have said until now, really. Close this higher. Potentially could have been creating a cycle up to this order block here. Now we've closed that low. Just looking like it's closing both sides and no real direction right now. Is set in stone. So we could just test up, bring us down. Right now closed, but obviously on this side it didn't do so. So why do we believe it's going to do it on this side? What you can really do is be patient, just wait, see what happens. And yeah, most we could have got out of this so far is 1R. Definitely not a bad trade. I think it's just more than 1R actually, because we had a take profit. Sorry, we had a thingy here. So yeah, no, it's 1.27. What I am gonna do now we've tested up is just bring this down 2 ticks. Bring this down 2 ticks here, or just 1 tick. Because if this rips up, at least, not really losing anything on this trade at all. Testing into that order block, taking that flip down. If we don't hold here, for this fair value gap below, which is the order block for this range we just closed, closed a high for, it's going to be a good look to continue down to this low and further down. What I would get you to do obviously is take the 1R, where we would already be out here for the 1R, and then could have got this continuation. Even if it loses, it's better than just being in the one trade like I am doing right now. Having your stop loss here, trying to go down, just taking another 1R, right? Just keep doing it over and over again until it's no longer valid to do so. So maybe that's what I'll do in the next video, is to show you exactly what I want you to do, opposed to what I'm doing, because in this video I'm just going to be trying to target 2R plus, because that's what I target. 52R is down to here. So far it isn't looking too bad. Could trail it to here. I'm gonna do so, because if we do close above here, we are gonna come up to here and higher. So it's a pretty good trail. Yep, not really anything else we can do now. Gonna take this off our screen just so we can see this more clearly. Bring this down for $48. We kind of wanted to take out this low here, create a cycle down. Unfortunately, we haven't. So this high going is quite a high possibility right now. I think even if we get trailed out here, we can attempt another one. If we maybe even just close this interior low here, test back up this order block, try it again. Don't think it's a bad idea. I think this trail here is the best and the most logical decision right now, because we have tested up into this range. If it tests up again, it's going to be higher, which is obviously break even, and we don't know if that will hold either. Can obviously just bring us all the way up to here and higher. So this is just the best option right now. Is just to trail to this high. See if this range is going to work out or continue higher. Which it is going to continue higher here, which is completely fine. We'll just wait for the next thing. 5 minute here, not really anything to say still. 15 minute, still not really anything to say, didn't test down into anything. No reason to really run higher. Gonna take a look at this midpoint here. Watch this, I think this is just gonna sweep us out and go higher and go lower. I think if we was to get this, we might as well just not have got out that first trade, which is, you know, why we trailed to here is because we think if it does come up to here and higher, it's gonna stop us out all the way up here. So I don't know if this trade is the best idea, because like I said, we might as well just stay into the first one. So what we're gonna do is we are just gonna wait for this to close. No reason to be impatient. The only thing I'm really seeing here right now is this could just be the sweep of this high to go down to here, or more so this one, hopefully. But what we're gonna do is just gonna wait. Just gonna wait. No reason to get into anything. Nothing really looks too good either. So we've tested all these ranges. I did try the first trade I was trying was just trying to get off of this or this. What we ended up getting was just a 5 minute order block here. Or was it here? Yeah, it was there. Yeah, because the stop loss was still good enough to do so. So I thought, you know what, I'll just enter off the 5 minute order block there. Just because we missed it and it was still a good stop loss. Doesn't look like this wants to go down as of now. Could just be holding off the high aggressively. which is definitely a possibility. It does look like it's doing so. Doesn't matter what high you look at here, to be honest. This range here tested into it. So we're looking to see if we close this, which we have done regardless now, because this black candle still closes above. So what we can do is confirm a bait range here if this high is holding, and we can wait for price action to trade down lower. We have a fair value up here we can trade into. Is it going to hold aggressively off of the high here? Regardless what happens, we could definitely, if we have our stop loss here, it's a bit further up than the low, but we could still enter a trade here, take up to here for 1R, entering off of the high. I don't think it's the worst thing, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wait for a little bit of a pullback, maybe into this tiny gap here. Stop loss is good as well. I think this is a really solid stop loss. This is actually the first time testing into this range as well, after closing up. But I'm going to take an exterior level over an interior 1 minute range. So once we get a good opportunity, take this long. I do think the opportunity is now. I think waiting here is kind of killing us. But I do still think it can go lower. Then again, why do you care if your stop loss compensates for the whole move here? So I think that's a bad play on my part. I should have just got straight in, considering what I was saying about well, the stop loss compensates for everything here. What we can do is have it at this previous low, go for this here. So what we could do, the previous low still compensates for a lot of the stuff inside of this range. We could move it down to here and just do 1 mini, but then at that point the risk to reward is just not good enough. Even right now it's not really the best, because of the time we're trading at. It's not really, don't really have much of a choice unless we want to be in this trade for about an hour. But yeah, I think if your stop loss, if all of the levels compensate, your stop loss compensates for them and it's not too high, then it, like I say, it doesn't really matter where you get in. And I should have taken my own advice there and just got in with my stop loss down here. You know, I still could have done the two micros and could have just taken it up to the target. Definitely, I think bad play on my behalf, but we can still try and get something here. Yeah. Hopefully this trades down a bit. Not going to try and get any higher than this, because then it just doesn't become worth it if we're only taking it up to this high. Cycling through our time frames now. Maybe it's only an extra 2 ticks, 3 ticks. tested our level but hasn't gone a tick lower. It has done now. Okay. And we just leave it here. Compensate for the whole move, so it doesn't really matter how high in we got here. Stop loss is still pretty good. Only issue is it doesn't compensate for the whole order block here, which is a bit of a concern, but I still think this is an okay attempt here. Big stop loss is better than having the tiny one like so at the bottom of the candle, and this can stop that instantly. Want to see if this can run. Can do exactly 1 hour in this trade. Can only really wait to see what happens. I'm not going to break even here. What you need to do really is, if your entry is above a new range that got created, you have to realize if you test here and you close it, it can come and hold this level. So what you should really be doing is just trailing so you lose less. So what I will be doing here is, once we get there, I'll trail to this, because now it can come down, hold this, go higher, and if it doesn't, and then it's going to fail this and go lower, so really it would get you out anyway. But having it here is just going to limit the likelihood of you getting a winning trade, and probably going to be a break-even trade, because you haven't compensated for where it can go to. In this scenario, we need to compensate for this. It still hasn't closed either. So if this moves higher, closes this, I'm not going to move this, because we've not closed it yet, we've not moved down. So the only way I'd break even here is if we come up to like around here or here. So what I would do here is I would just mark out this and just label it. Just label it break even. So once we get here, we can break even. If it does get here. Because we need to give it a benefit of the doubt. We can't just break even straight away. It kind of depends on how you feel about the trade, because if you fail this high, then fair enough. If you want to see this as failed a higher, well, if you fail in high, you're going to come down to the low, right? But in a scenario like this, where you're holding the exterior range here, it can definitely have a good push up. I think leaving it where it is a good idea. And now it's tested down and gone higher. I'm going to trade it to here, so now I lose 1. And now we've been taken out here. See what I mean? We would have been break even, it would have came down, got us out break even, and then gone higher. Which is why you just need to give it the benefit of doubt. If you can't break even and it's not logical, you can't expect one candle just to break the high straight away in this scenario. You know, you've created a new range, there's a new low. If you fail that high, it's going to break this low. So instead of leaving our stop loss down here, we can now move it higher. So now we're going from risking 1R to risking a lot less. I think it was around, so from here is 6, so that's obviously 1R to here, which is around about 0.3R we would have been losing instead. and we're still giving it the chance to go higher instead of just break even in, getting stopped out, break even, then it going to our take profit, which it would have done. So now, cycle our time frames. What does it look like is going on? Here's the thing as well, we never traded down yet, so we can still trade down. If this interior range fails, because you got to realize, right, we just closed it. We closed it the same candle that we was down here, so now we're just testing down to see if we're going to hold this interior range to actually close the high here, or are we just going to close this, trade up to here, go down to here, because this is what's holding the exterior, to then go higher. Because remember, this is the exterior, we're holding that. We've just closed. We need to close this exterior higher to confirm the exterior level is holding aggressively. So our goal is to close this on the 5 minute. Let's see what the stop loss is going to be looking like here. 4. We're going to try this. Get a continuation play up. Don't see any signs of failure. Close the high interiorly. We need to close this on the higher time frame. Don't really see it as a sweep at all. I think if we miss this one, I'm not going to try and enter higher, because then it just doesn't become worth it. Unless we obviously try to get it higher, like so, then we could do so. Which, I mean, our next target just got hit anyway. It can be here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this off now. Just because we hit that target beforehand. If we didn't, and this just didn't work up, then yeah, I'd leave it there. I would leave it there, but because we hit that, I don't want to go for that. Because to pull back on this candle doesn't look very likely that it's going to push higher in this one push. Just looking to see. So it has to go that higher if we're going for this trade with the stop loss below the previous low. One eye is just to there of his stop loss. I'm just not gonna bother with that. The only thing I really liked was that midpoint. If we go into 15-second, nothing's closed. It looks so choppy. 5 seconds gonna look even worse. Even the 5 second, we've not closed anything. $15 minutes clearly going up to this high, so we need to close this on the 15 minute as well, which we have 3 minutes. 3 minutes here. Try and close this up. Which I do believe it is going to close up. That's why I'm so conflicted with taking this. And just like that, it has gone straight up there. Would have taken us out. for 1 hour there. So I'm completely fine with missing out on this, because if you're not completely convinced, or something doesn't look 100% right to you, then just don't take it. Don't force something, because that's where you're going to take a lot of losses, when you force something. Countless times do I miss out on something because something hasn't gone exactly how I wanted it to go. And I'm fine with missing those ones, because if it doesn't apply to what I want to see, then I'll just miss out on it. And this is a prime example. I didn't want this to test into this. Before we tried the midpoint, it tested into it. Yeah, we could have still got it. I still think everything was still fine. We didn't even test the high yet. But I just didn't really like the fact we did that. But if this does close, we want to see if we're holding this exterior level aggressively, or we're going to come back down to the order book here. 15-minute order book higher. We have the midpoint, and we also have the open. Quite a lot of levels on the screen here. So just gonna get rid of the midpoint real quick. Leave these free. Close it on the 1 minute. Still need to close it on the 5 minute. And obviously the 15 as well. So we have to remain above this for another one candle. Meaning we need to hold this range below, which is what it's trying to do right now. Is this a good trade? No, obviously not, because we need to stay above this level. This is the next high, 0.29. Not really the best idea. I'd rather just let it. See if it's going to hold here. If it doesn't hold here as well, but then these candles still look like the next one's going to close higher, then I will still be taking trades down in this smaller range here. Oh, sorry, the further down part of the range. Still trying to close out. 8 seconds here. No movement in this candle at all. So it barely just misses the closure. Which kind of leads me to believe that it will still close here in the next candle. Remember, this is testing down into this interior range. Because we have 15 minutes to close this though. There's nothing saying we can't come down to here before going higher. Close it on the 1 minute, right? So this range is technically activated. On the higher time frames it hasn't been. On the 1 minute it has been. Just cycle through our time frames here just to see what's going on. One hour, we haven't hit anything. Felt the low, we're trying to hit the higher. This should be our next exterior target. Just this higher. This is bringing us down to where we want to go. This does just make the trade a lot more worth it now. If we can take something here, because let's say we get something like so, stop loss down here, we're then take about 2R here up to the high, whereas beforehand it was only going to be a small trade. Five minute, we just tested the 5 minute order block. the midpoint of this candle isn't the worst idea. Issue is though we can only do 1 minute, so we're not getting too much out of this. But something's better than nothing, right? I have to go as high as this. I don't want to push my stop loss higher, but it's either that or we don't get this trade. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to leave that for now. Or we can just have it at the previous low, but I want to compensate for the whole range here. Previous low. If we was to enter right now, could do 2 minis. It's above the midpoint of that order block. I think if we closed this, then I would have done that. We didn't close that. I'm going to do that. We'll just wait for it to come down here. Have a look to see how this candle closes. If this closes black, then I will 100% wait here. Closes orange, and I still think this is trying to hold. 5 minute is looking terrible. This is a new order block here now. The midpoint of it is here. So this would be the new risk to reward. I do want it at that bottom. We can have it here. Just trying to get up to that high. This compensates for the whole move basically. Besides for the midpoint of the 1 minute order block. I think we're just going to try and create a range here. Want to test down into the small gap here. Lowest fair value gap. We're inside that 5 minute order block and fair value gap. I think this is gonna try and have a little bit of a push down. Just doing into that gap now. Now I am satisfied of taking this, because now we can have a stop loss down here. If we was to take the midpoint of this candle, and we can compensate for that whole move, for this whole range. Just gonna take this off our screen. Remember, like I said, we didn't close this on a higher time frame. We didn't close this on a higher time frame, but we closed on a 1 minute, and we didn't really hit anything new on the exterior. So I think we can still hold this. This is the thing. I think even if we do go down, which, I mean, right now I do believe it looks like it will. You know, we had to close this exteriorly to confirm this is holding. But I still think we can flip up to this before we go deeper down. Which is why I still think this trade is a good idea. I think it's going down now, just because of the look of this. Still think this exterior target is something that can be here. But if we're actually being realistic here, we failed it on the higher time frames. If we're failing this high on the higher time frame, that means it's failing to close the high that brought us to the high, which is the exterior level here, to hold aggressively, meaning if that's failing, it's bringing us to here. But we have this interior range, obviously we close, we can take that up to here before it fails. So what we're going to do here is wrong contract size. I think I've missed that by just explaining that. Test us to the tick. Doesn't get us in now. Has got us in now. So I think this can come up to the order block. So what we do is we'll just have a take profit here. Because we have to be realistic now, right? It's trying to go down. This range closed. If it's going to flip anyway, it's going to be the order block. This should flip us down if we're going to go lower. So this is the place to have a take profit to. It's also 1.4 hour as well, which is good. Now what we're going to do, because we've tested into this range just above, you know, it can flip anywhere. Break even here is a good idea. And I still think it's an okay attempt. Because it had to push up fast, it didn't. Small little range here. If it holds off of this, it's just failing to go higher. It's going to come down, break this range down, and go even further down. So now I'd be looking at, you know, those shorts down. Because I trade had to work out fast. It had to go up continuously to here. It didn't. It had to pull back. It failed to get above this level. It's going to come down. So what could we do is this. The next high is all the way up here, but I don't think we need to come higher anymore. So in this scenario, I would just leave it at this higher. Only has to come to the low for you to get that 1 hour as well. We'll do something like so, right? 15-second close, testing up now. So this is the perfect opportunity to try and take this, because we've closed to 15 seconds. Failed to move up fast, which we should have done. So once we come back down here, the moment it tests, we can get in here. We're looking for it to get into there. Remember, I wanted this to go down aggressively. Is why we broke even so fast. Or sorry, go up aggressively. It didn't go up aggressively that fast. What we can do, though, is just react to what's going on. We closed this, when then it's still confirming it's trying to go higher. Our levels here that we need to test into. If we haven't tested into the very least it can test into, which is going to be this lowest fair value gap here, then we can still take that along higher. So we failed to move up here. I think might be a bit too late here. Just gonna hit that higher, like I said. Now we're just gonna target the low. You know, like I say, we failed to move up high fast. The interior time frames were already telling us that. No reason to go high here. We're failing to go higher. Not moving up fast. And then the exterior target, which is here. Just gonna have that on the screen. Not really too much to do right now. This is expected. Close, testing up into that range. This is very expected. This is one where we just can't break even if we get here. Because it moves up the tiniest amount and we would be out. Be a terrible idea. We'd have to let it close, let it test up, let it go down, and then go break even. Don't really care what's going on right now. Just doing its sideways stuff before it goes in whatever direction it wants to go in. There's nothing you can do other than wait. Go, trying to push down. Trying to close it slow, if you can close it slow. Definitely trying to push us down to that lower target. Just gotta be patient. Just sideways so far. Just somewhere you could actually travel to be honest, but not gonna do that. Because we want us to close. We travel to here. We're not compensating for how high it can go, because it can go to here. I just realised I don't even have that where it should be. Should be here. For the 1R. Now we can still test up. We've been stopped up. Lovely. That's quite a long-winded trade. It's going to be the last one because it is getting really late now. But I hope you understood why I took that trade. Failed to move up higher. Failed the first range here. Needed to move up aggressively if it was going to get up to the level here. Just because we closed on the 1 minute doesn't mean it's going to go higher. We did think so. We was hoping it would. It didn't. We're just reacting off of that, right? So yeah, hope you get some value out of this video.